Yo, what's going on? We are here. We got another exclusive episode of the Unselfish Behavior Podcast. That is the #1 podcast in LA. Y'all have to understand what's going on right now. We're here in Las Vegas, Nevada with a wonderful family. That's right, my personal family. I'm sitting here with my brother Rob Jones, my sister LT. And you know, we got the queen of the podcast right here with me today, my queen Cymone. We're here talking about marital advice and relationship advice and kids and just family. I think that we live in a world, guys, to where, you know, the media shines a huge light from a family perspective on the negative aspects that come with black families. And for me, I feel like I have such a huge obligation to shine a positive light on all the good things that we're doing. So, how y'all doing, first and foremost?
Good.
And welcome, Ben. You know, coronavirus, y'all. Corona. Don't get one of the things. You gotta understand what's going on. So. You know, we just have some questions, obviously, and these questions are formulated through us, but for the people. And there's people out here that are going to be watching this episode that are single. There's people out there going to be watching this that are in a relationship with you know, they've been in a relationship for a few months to a few years, and there's people out here that are engaged, married, so on and so forth. And I feel like you guys are a great example in regards to how a marriage has its own own formula in order to work effectively. And the questions that we'll be asking y'all today, and just kind of conversating with y'all, more so of a conversation, less of an interview. But one of the biggest things that I want to talk to you guys about was, what are some elements that you think are important for a lasting and healthy relationship, a healthy marriage, that is? What do you go first? Anybody go?
Communication. Communication is probably the most important thing within a relationship in itself before it can even get to marriage.
Right.
As long as you continue to communicate and you don't lose that communication, regardless of what it's about, then you will continue to grow together instead of growing apart.
Gotcha. What do you think
about? Yeah, but like I think more specifically about communication is having your own time to talk about it. Like what we ended up doing was, you know, since we have kids, it's harder to find time with just you and your partner or your spouse, whatever. So what we try to do is every week, you know, we just have time where me and her go out, whether it's, you know, to dinner, you know, to a park, to anything really. Just do something like you would do when you were dating, and just me and her talk. Like literally just talk. How was your week? How was your day? What's going on? And I think that's, you know, you got to do it away from the house. You know what I mean? I think that is what's important, because then you kind of keep that kind of like kindling going. You know what I mean? You kind of look at that person not as, if you're married, oh, that's just my wife. Or somebody you've been with a long time, oh, you know, you remember why you kind of got with them in the first place and why you wanted to spend time with them in the first place. So you got to make sure you put that time aside to communicate. Just you and that person. Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, one thing that me and her talk a lot about is this idea of a honeymoon stage. And we've been rocking with each other, and it's like, we always tell each other, it feels like the first day I've met you. I know it sounds cheesy as hell, but it's true. Every day feels like something to be excited for. And I attest that to exactly what you just said, effort, and putting forth effort to keep things new and fresh and making sure you guys prioritize that time. You know, how important is it to continuously do that while you have kids, though? Because they require attention as well. So how do you guys chop up the time segments? And obviously you guys have work and you have hobbies and you have,
I'll talk about that, right? Because, okay, so obviously, as dudes, you know what I mean? Like the biggest complaint a lot of us dudes have is like, oh, you know, when the wife becomes naggy or the girl becomes naggy, or the kids, you seem like they keep bothering you so much. You know what I mean? Because you want either play video games or go out with the fellas. Or, you know what I mean? You just want to have, us dudes always want to find our time by ourselves. Right. So what happened to me was, you know, when I was in that space, I kept feeling like, wait, why can't they just leave me alone? Like, what's going on? So then I had to take a time out. I was like, oh, okay, this is what I gotta do. I gotta give, so we have 2 kids. I give Blair her time, just me and her. Me and Blair literally hang out sometimes, just me and her. She likes wrestling. Me and her, just me and Blair will watch wrestling. Just me and her.
Huge.
Me and Niven will go out. Niven likes to go to, you know, Chick-fil-A. He likes to eat. He's you know.
You know,
so I'll take me and him. We just go to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Tina, she likes to do stuff. She likes to go out, you know, different like shows and stuff. Me and her will go. So I made it a point to, okay, if I take just Blair, give Blair just her time, give Niven just her time, give Tina her time, then all of a sudden you have time for yourself.
That's right.
So if you don't, it's like if you don't actually give each person their own time, then obviously you're gonna feel like they're nagging because they want that time from you, from the dad.
There we go.
Yeah. So like honestly, that's what I started doing because like when I felt like, you know, man, this is getting overcrowded, it's because I wasn't giving them their own time.
Gotcha.
So then I prioritized that, and then once I got all that, then they all, you know, they don't want to spend time with you all the time.
Of course.
So that's when you get your time. You've given everybody their time.
Right.
Then you go. Then that's how you free it up.
Right.
Right.
Go?
Yeah. And I mean, the honeymoon phase, it does happen, but it will continue to go. We also are big firm believers of making deposits. You know, treat your relationship like an ATM. And as long as you continue to make deposits and not worry about the other person, then when it's time to make a withdrawal, when something happens, it's not as bad because you're stocked up. So, you know, for us, that comes into play all the time. You know, being together for 12 years, you know, I still tell them all the time, like, I feel like it's the first year I met you. And, you know, it wasn't always that way, but once we moved here to Las Vegas and we were away from our friends and our family, we were able to really just focus on our family, and those deposits happen. You know, he'll tell me all the time, like, I can't even stay mad at you for long.
Right.
But that's because, you know, I try my best to make deposits, and he does the same. And, you know, that way when a person makes a mistake or does something that you don't like, you know, of course you don't hold grudges. You just give it a wash and say, you know, this person does so many great things. They're not perfect.
Right,
you know,
right.
Keep going.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah.
I feel like now us coming together and blending our family, it's a lot that we could take from that.
Yeah.
Also, I was going to say, you know, pouring into each other. That's also something that I feel like honeymoon stage, like it's always going to be there, but then he's in a house with 3 women or 3, you know, females. And I'm not a wife yet, but it's like, I better get on, you know, not all the attention, but just making sure you.
Yeah, that's hard. That's easier said than done. But that's, like I said, I just feel like as a guy, that seems to be a lot of what we complain about. You just want to have that space, but you got to give everybody their time. You got to make that the priority. Yeah.
I just mentioned that to her recently because one of the things that I like to do is just kind of go to, you know, a hookah lounge and just watch videos by myself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just, I'm not doing nothing. I'm not with nobody. I just need that time to just chill and just do something I enjoy doing. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or watching a game. I feel like that's a sacred time, especially if you're not a fan of the team I'm watching. It's like, for dudes, it's like, why are you even here? Because we tapped into.
You watch the Celtics, right? When you love them.
You better stop playing. You better stop playing. You see, my brother-in-law from Boston and I'm from LA. You have to understand what's going on. But, you know, when I'm watching the best team in all of sports, which is the Los Angeles Lakers, you know, that's my time. But luckily, I'm blessed to, you know, have a queen who is not only a Laker fan, but her whole family, her mom is an insane Laker fan. So, but I'm able to just, you know, navigate with that, and we're learning our formula. And I think that's why we're sitting with y'all. It's just because I feel like you guys have a proven formula that works, and it wasn't always like that. Like, you guys had to put work in. And one of the biggest things that I admire about relationships that, you know, are prospering is the aspect of knowing the quality, and you mentioned it earlier, the quality and the benefits of getting out. Like the traveling aspect of families. I love seeing families that travel as a collective, right? And you said you guys take the kids overseas, right? Once a year at least. That's major. You know how we was raised, Tina. We grew up in the hood. So when you grow up in this, and I'm sure you know, in Boston as well, grew up a certain way, and I know she did as well. We grew up to where we were kind of like in a bubble, right? Our communities were our bubble.
I grew up with a silver spoon in my mouth.
Oh, I can absolutely tell. And I didn't want to say it on camera, but this guy right here is an asshole. But I love him. You got to understand what's going on right now. But no, y'all know what I'm saying. Like, we grew up not knowing there was a lot of other possibilities out there, and not knowing that there was a lot of other things to see. What was the inspiration behind, what was that conversation like? Like, babe, we're going to take the kids overseas, not to a different state or to a theme park or whatever, which is cool too if parents do that. But what was the mindset behind, let me get my kids over the water?
Well, we started before we had Blair 10 years ago, and one of our conversations was, as we have children, let's make sure we don't stop doing the things that we enjoy. So you have to come together as husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the case may be, and decide how you're going to do that, because it's extremely important. So, like Rob said, how, he takes time for each of us, and then we come together and have time as a family. We also take a trip every year with just us.
Love it.
And while we're on that trip, we normally plan, okay, what's the next trip with the kids?
Love it.
So, our kids are a little bit older now. So just starting last year, we started asking them, where do you guys want to go? Sometime it is in the States. Last year they wanted to go to New York. So that's where we took them.
Gotcha.
And, we were fortunate because Rob has family there, but they got to see all of New York, Times Square, and, go on some tours. It was amazing. But we just love to take them. And, our daughter's like, I want to move here. And
come on.
I want to go to school here.
That's
just
awesome.
showing them, like you said, so many things outside what we didn't see growing up. Seeing a mother who wanted to do things for us, but she just really didn't know how. And you have to educate yourself. So I think I'm more of the person who is kind of into, okay, where can we go as a family, kid friendly, but we can still have a good time. What's enough days? And then also to, like I said, okay, what are we going to do next so we can have our time alone?
Gotcha.
So, I mean, it's very, very important that you do that with your children, or else they grow up to be like some individuals say, well, I never traveled, so I don't even know what it looks like.
Right.
I don't want to go over there. What's going to happen?
Facts.
So,
yeah. So for me, one thing that just came to my mind was, like, for you two, I look at you guys and I say, wow, you guys been married now how long? 10 years? Together 12?
10 years, yeah.
And I understand that there's waves that come with relationships. It's not always good times. Like, we live in a society to where everyone wants to be like the relationship that looks like they're always winning. That's so powerful. Like, on social media, what do we always see? Relationship goals.
Yeah.
Under relationships that you have no idea what type of shit they really go through behind closed doors. What is it? What is a test? Because we live in a society as well, as you guys know, to where people are ready to break up after the first fuck up. Excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? The first mistake, the first mess up. It's like, this is over. I'm doing a divorce. I'm doing this. People are married 6 months, a year, 2 years. What do you guys attest to fighting through the difficult times when adversity hits? And I want to touch on how I feel after it, but how do you guys kind of tackle that as a collective? What's the mindset?
Well, like, she kind of spoke on it because it's true, because like it makes sense if you think about it. When she talks about deposits, right? So every time, me and her do something, or say I take her out, or I get her something, you know what I mean? I surprise her with something. Like I said, that's the deposit. You know what I'm saying? But a withdrawal is always more than the deposit. So that big fight, that thing that you told her you want to do, but then, she made another plan, and then it canceled your plan, and then you get pissed off, or it's normally we forget to do something. The chick.
That's you too?
No, I said us guys.
No, I'm saying
including
you forget stuff as
that's
well.
Including you too.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I forget shit all the time. I'm saying you're
like brushing your hair.
See, I told him not to wear this stupid ass hat. I said, don't wear a hunter's hat on my episode. And what does he do with a hat? But like, this is every day. You gotta understand. I'm so glad that y'all can't catch feet on this angle, because Rob's toes look like Joel Embiid. But what I'm saying is,
here we go. I'll let you ride. Go ahead.
But I think it's important, man. I think it's important what we're saying. And what's kind of your view on it?
I definitely think, like you said, making the deposits. When the tough times happen, that's the stuff that everyone doesn't tell you, the work. When you are standing at the altar and they say for better or worse, for good and bad,
there we go.
You have to really, really understand what that means, because your relationship and your marriage is going to go through turns. And everyone kept telling us when we first got married, the first 7 years is the hardest, and it was. However, after those 7 years, we kind of took charge of our marriage and relationship, and we were like, this is what we're doing. We don't care what Tom and Sally is doing. We don't care what Joe and Sandra is doing. This is what the Jones are doing.
Facts.
And as we continue to do what the Jones were doing, everyone started to look at us like, wow, how are you doing that? All we did was make a blueprint for the Jones.
I was going to say, let me cut in. What I was going to say was, what a lot of people have as a reason they split up is like other family members, other people's opinions.
Getting involved.
Right. So honestly, we've had that experience. One of our family members or somebody, had an opinion about something or got into the middle, and then we had to take a step back. It's like, yo, it got to be me and you versus everybody.
Right.
Me and you versus my mother,
mom,
my brother, me and you versus everybody. Like, if you really want to get that ride or die,
I love that.
a lot of dudes don't really, or females too, they don't really think about it like that. Like, if you really wanna have that, down ass chick, or that chick will do anything for you, you gotta choose her over your mom's, like straight up. And if you ain't ready to do that, then you ain't gonna have that down ass chick. You know what I'm saying? And it's harder to do than you think. But I've done it. No, I'm straight up. I've experienced where it's like I had to take certain family members up to the side and be like, yo, like this is who this is my family. You know what I mean? Like obviously I still love you, but like this comes first. You know, and honestly, if you really sit them down and be serious, they respect that because they see how serious you are.
Right.
Like straight up, like if you got to get to that level.
Right.
And what I was gonna also say was, like I think it's also important, like you said, to like have arguments. You know, not like fighting, but like honestly have those times where you can see, oh, can we actually work this out? Like, because there's been times where I'm just speaking as a guy. Like as a guy, we don't like to express feelings, express how we feel, because we think that's we act like a little bitch and we punk it out.
Right.
But honestly, again, if you're trying to have that straight up, like, real relationship, you got, like I said, we've done it too. Like, hey, I gotta say, like, yo, you know what? That thing you said or that thing you did, that really upset me. Like, just like that, that hurt me. That's a conversation. So by me coming out and saying that, then she got to be like, oh, okay. So either she's gonna hear what I'm saying and be like, okay, what can I do to make that better? Or she can just straight up be like, well, I don't care.
Yeah, fuck it, I don't care.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, well, at least
Facts.
then you can't blame her because you actually told her what you felt.
You did your part.
Right. So I mean, you can't get mad at the female if you aren't man enough to even see how you feel. Because a lot of dudes don't do that. Because I hear, I've had conversations with other dudes, and a lot of times that's normally where it gets like this. Because the chick will do something, but you think it's you're being a punk by telling her that it hurt you. So then you turn all this venom on her when you're the one who got the problem.
Because you never expressed yourself.
Yeah, you gotta if that's your girl, like, you know what I mean? If you're just messing around with it, okay. Yeah. Then if you're just messing around with it, then, don't take it so seriously. Don't get hurt. Why you get hurt from the chick you don't even care about?
Facts.
So you gotta pick and choose. You gotta decide.
Man, I hope y'all listening to
You gotta decide which one it is.
Huge.
You know what I'm saying? So, again, that's what, where we've kind of had that experience was I had to be like, okay, a lot of females are good at expressing it, but I had to get good at it. Like, okay, I don't gotta be all, crazy or yelling. I just be like, okay, do you have a second to talk? And she'll say yes or no.
Right.
Okay, when are you available? She'll tell me. And then when we sit down, I have to be like, okay, you know what? That thing you did or said or whatever, that kind of hurt, man, like, for real.
And that's where the communication gets hard and individuals split up. Because when you can't express yourself or you don't feel like you can express yourself to the person, then that's when other things start to come into play.
There we go. That's huge.
That's communicating. Yeah, communicating is that.
It goes back to the communication because you expressing how you feel at that moment, it's not about you. It's about how that person feels. Because something that may upset me may not upset him.
There we go.
And if you express to that person that it hurts you or it makes you feel uncomfortable or whatever the case may be, then now the person knows.
Right.
If the person never knows, then you can't go about, 2-3 months saying, well, you keep doing this.
Right.
So it's like, well,
you never
said anything. You never said anything, yeah.
So
that's a big
part in relationships. And a lot of couples that we talk to, Rob gives a lot of good advice, and I share it with a lot of my female friends, and they tend to not believe it until they have to do it. Particularly a situation. I had a friend who is dating a guy for a long time. They're engaged, and they had an argument, and she was very upset that he hung up in her face. And I asked her, I said, did you express to him how it made you feel? She said, no, I just didn't call him back, and we haven't talked in almost 3 weeks. I said, so how many times does this happen? She said, it always happens. I said, have you ever told him how you feel? And she was like, no. I said,
he should know. He should know that. She should be able to read my mind as to why I'm mad.
Yeah, I said, what normally happens in the past when this happens? She said, I'll normally just call him back. I said, and you never tell him? She said, no. I said, you need to pick up the phone and express to him how that hurts you. I said, because it shouldn't be 3 weeks between you and your fiance of not talking. You have children together. And she just called me like a few weeks ago to say your advice was so spot on, because when I told him, he was so apologetic, like I never even knew. I just kind of thought you were in your rut and you'd get over it.
That's huge.
So it's important to communicate your feelings. And like I said, as you continue to communicate your feelings as a couple, you're going to continue to grow together instead of apart.
Gotcha. One of the things that I'm thinking about in regards to, one thing that you said that just stood out to me was, like, you have to feel safe enough to even feel like you can express. And another thing Rob said was like, Like if you say something to your partner and it's just like they don't give a fuck, then I want to ask y'all like, what do you do after that? Like for example, if something really hurt you and you expressed it to Tina, but Tina don't give a damn, like then what for you?
Then you got to decide. It was like, okay, is this thing that I'm telling her important enough for me to
keep going?
Right, exactly.
Or just leave it alone.
Yeah, if again, then you can revisit it. You know what I mean? Okay, so she didn't say what I want her to say. Okay, you know what? I'll still be upset or whatever. I was like, okay, well, we'll table this. You know, we'll go back at it again. If I bring it up again, you know what I mean? I'll say, hey, you know what you said last time, you know, was effed up. And then she's like, well, I don't care. You know what I mean? She's telling me what she feels. So like I said, if you're already like, if you're really trying to make it work, you can give a person 2-3 times, or she could have been too mad to even want to give you that thing, but then it's on you to decide, okay, what's your limit? You know what I mean? If you have zero limit, then maybe that's stupid. You should have some type of, if obviously you care and the other person doesn't respond, then you should look at why you're even in it. You know what I mean? Because it may not get better.
Right.
You know what I mean? So then that's life. You know what I'm saying? So you got to choose if you want to continue. Yeah. But I guess to answer your question, you just revisit it. If she doesn't say what I wanted, I revisit it. And if she still don't understand how serious it is to me, then, you know, like I said, maybe she will never. You know?
And you create like you said about creating a safe place to feel like you're comfortable with the person. First and foremost, before you can marry anybody, they have to be your best friend. If they're not your best friend, and Rob always talks about how if you can't take the worst thing that they do and times it by 10 and still love them, then they're not the one for you. I love it. And
sure, I'll take credit for that. Sure.
You know, most importantly, is respecting a person's time. I feel like it's okay to have disagreements or whatever you want to call them, but you have to ask the person, you know, if your spouse comes to you and say, do you have a minute to talk? There's something bothering you.
That sounds corny, but honestly, we do that a lot. Yeah. We say, hey, do you have a minute? When can we talk?
You can get in the right mind frame, because oftentimes when someone hits you with something and you're not prepared for it, you are responding based off a reaction and not responding to understand what they're saying. And that's where the fighting and arguments come from, and yelling.
Well, I want to talk about it now. So, well, I can't. I'm just not ready.
Right.
Yeah. You gotta respect that. Yeah. That takes maturity, because you know it used to be like that.
That's very difficult. It's hard to do.
So that's what works for us. You know, I think it's probably the most amazing advice we could have ever received, because as you're going through a relationship, creating, you know, different time for everybody and for yourself and work, when a person says, hey, do you have a moment to talk? You're like, oh, okay, they respected my time. You know, actually I don't right now, but let's talk tomorrow. Right. So
I think people are gonna listen to this and be like, no, that's so fake. But honestly, that's what we do. Like straight up. I mean, I think, like I said, if you actually have another thing, like if you actually have like a hustle or like if you are busy, I mean, that's where it comes into play. You know what I mean? Like that's why it's important, I think, to have something to do. You know what I mean? Like we've kind of talked about this before. Like if we spent all of our time together 24/7, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, you don't have enough time to miss the person, or you feel like you can't do anything without that person. I feel like that's dangerous.
Even if it's for an hour.
Yeah, I feel like that's dangerous. Yeah, you shouldn't feel like you don't have your own identity, even when you're married. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like, you know, I think maybe that's another misconception. Like when you get married, or you know, you find your partner, you guys got to do everything together
all the time.
No, I think that's dangerous, because you might lose yourself in the person, and then you forget what what even makes you happy. You know what I mean? So like we don't have that issue, because we both have things we like to do. You know what I mean? But I mean, so if you are both busy people, that is like, you know, important. Hella important to, you know, make sure you ask the person. You know?
Gotcha. What do you think, Beck? Add something.
No, I was actually going to add to that, just because I've been in the state to where I'm not talking right now, and I would shut down. This is previous relationships where I would just shut down and I wouldn't talk. I would just be like, not now. And it was like, when I'm ready to talk, we'll talk. But then when they're not ready, it's just like, it's a clash. It's a big clash. So that's great advice. And I'm glad that we've known that early in our relationships, and I actually had to learn. You know, just time.
Yeah,
take time.
Yeah.
And to be honest, because I know you guys said that you that was a challenge for you guys earlier on. And I think, you know, I'm still learning myself how to, because I'm such a talker, if you guys haven't noticed yet. But, you know, I'm always in a state of, I'm a solutions specialist. So I have to try to figure it out. And I think that could be a detriment to me sometimes because I don't know at times how to just, you know, give her what she's asking for in the heat of the moment. Like, that's when, like, both of the emotions are high. She's like, I don't want to talk to you right now. And she'll literally tell me, I'll talk to you tomorrow. At times that I struggle with that. Like, okay, I'm being transparent. I'm the individual that struggles sometimes with, but I want to talk now. Like, I don't want to go to sleep mad or whatever the case may be. It's like, but understanding that everybody has their own temperature. Everyone has their own needs. And understand the importance of that as well. And I think relationships out there, and even people that, you know, are not in relationships yet could learn a lot just from that aspect. With you guys, if there's anything else you want to add before we leave?
I just thank you for the advice.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's a
That's
great
right.
couple to talk to.
Absolutely.
Learn
100%. 100%. And I also think...
Not just because they're family.
Come on now. You got to understand what's going on. We're going to do a lot more of these too, but one other thing that I want to touch on is, I know me and you talked about it briefly, Tina, was this idea behind pushing your partner outside of their comfort zone to do things that you may see a benefit for them that they may not even see in themselves yet. I think that's super dope. Like, and I know Rob, he's big on, you know, I'm not sure, like Spartan races and stuff like that. And you've gotten your family involved just based off you just doing it, right? And I think that that's a testament to that. Like, stepping outside of your comfort zone, doing things that may be challenging that could benefit you. You know what I'm saying? Just talk a little bit about, and both of you guys, you could chime in, talk about the importance of just kind of making sure that you're always bringing out a higher version of each other as individuals within the relationship.
I want to talk. I'll say the first thing because I think I guess, you know, everybody has their own opinion on what, you know, they like in their partner or the person they choose to be with or whatever. But I think the major thing I feel makes a good couple is someone that you can look at and kind of be inspired by. You know what I mean? Like, because honestly, that's kind of what happened with us was that, you know, before, you know, when we first met, she was already hustling and grinding, and she was already that person when I first met her. So I was like, dang, that's impressive. How do you do that? No, so I was asking, I was like, how do you do that? I was like taking notes and stuff, right? So that is what kind of, you know, drew me to her. And I guess, you know, I had some similar things with her. So I think, you know, to answer your question, what was the question? It was, I was talking about the goals. Yeah.
Push you out.
Pushing each other outside your comfort zone.
Okay, now to bring it full circle. Be an example for the other person. You know what I mean? So that they can, and then they'll feed off of it. Is what I was going to say. So the Spartan races and stuff like that. You know, again, I feel like, you know, this is what a lot of guys talk about. You know, like, you know, staying in shape, you know what I mean? Because sometimes guys want to care about staying in shape more than the females, or sometimes vice versa. Right. But I think where you find a medium is, okay, I didn't care about what they was doing. They see, you know, I'm here all the time. So I was doing it on my own, honestly. I didn't even ask them because I wanted to do it myself, right? Yeah. And then my son asked, and then she was like, oh, when is the next one? And then Blair asked, you know what I mean? So I don't worry about, you know, trying to force them or make them. How we push each other is that we just do the thing we like to do, and then we kind of see, we're like, oh dang, you know what I mean? We'll kind of try to outdo the other person. He doesn't. I don't think she has to tell me per se. I see her. You know what I mean? Like, so I see how she does, and then I internally want to, like, dang, you know, she's beasting me. Yeah. So then I want to, you know, I want to do it the other way. So we just learn by doing.
And the things that's uncomfortable. You know, we always talk about that. You know, the things that are uncomfortable. That as you'll learn your talk. You'll know the things that they want to do, but they shy away from because it's difficult for them. You know, we're really good at that, at staying on top of each other. Right. You know, he knows all my aspirations and the things that I want to do. So if he noticed that I may be falling off, we're very strategic about it. He'll be like, you know, so how's this going? He'll just ask. And that'll remind me, like, oh crap, he's paying attention. Right.
And if I'm not staying on my game, then again, you know, that leaves room for her to question what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'll just ask. How's this going?
Right, you know what I mean? So if I'm really beasting and I ask her that, then she won't feel any type of way because she sees me doing it. So that's how you push each other. It's like you can't how can you push the other person to do better when you ain't doing the thing that you said?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
It's
not a guy or girl thing.
Reciprocate it as well.
Yeah.
Because at times you're each gonna fall off,
yeah.
regardless of what it is. So you have to reciprocate when it's gonna be on the other end, because it's gonna happen.
Right.
When you fall off and your mate is like, hey, what's going on? You can't be offended. You just have to take it for what it is, and you got to get back on track and appreciate that you have someone that's rooting for you. Because a lot of relationships don't have that. They could care less if you fall off. They could care less, and then all it's going to do is internally make them more and more upset, and then they're not going to want to spend time. They're going to want to be away from home because you're not doing the things that they expect you to do.
Love it. Right. Gotcha. Love it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Soaking it all in.
Really.
All right. So with that being said, obviously we could talk to y'all all day, but for the sake of the exclusive episode, that's right, Unselfish Behavior Podcast, we out here. We're gonna wrap it up right there. But we appreciate y'all.
All right.
Thank you. You gotta understand what's going on. So with that being said, it's your main man King Q. That is a wrap for this episode. We can't end no episode at all without shouting out my good brother behind them cameras. That's right. He goes by the name of B Visuals. Y'all know him very well. Until next time, we out.